For the first time in years, a change comes to the school board. Meet Nada Wheelock, the newest board member for Vancouver Public Schools. And the district says goodbye to Mary Greves, whose retirement cleared the way for Nada. See what her colleagues have to say about her 20 years helping Vancouver's children. Plus, a look back more than 60 years at Lewis Middle School. Find out how that building is being used today. All this on today's Snapshot. Hello, welcome to the show. I'm Tara Cox. We're joining you today from Eisenhower Elementary School. For the first time in years, the Board of Directors for Vancouver Public Schools will have a new member. And today, we have a one-on-one conversation with her. Let's take a closer look in our snapshot. The newest board member is Nada Wheelock. She was selected by fellow board members after they interviewed several candidates. Nada replaces Mary Greves, who retired after more than 20 years on the school board. And joining us now to introduce herself is Nada Wheelock. Nada, thanks for being here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a parent of 2 children in the Vancouver School District, and I spent the last 20 years in the private sector working in marketing, general management, in financial services, in the high-tech industry. And this last year I've been focusing on nonprofit management, consulting with a nonprofit in Portland, and working with the Vancouver School District Foundation.
Okay, so what made you want to run for the board?
Well, it's something I hadn't really considered, but in early December I met Mary Greves at an event, and she had let me know that she was considering retiring. And she looked at me and said, "We need more people like you to step forward in leadership roles." And so that's really when the seed was planted, and I guess it was early January where I saw the application process on the website and reached out to the superintendent and the board president to get some more information to find out kind of what the process was like and what it would entail, and thought I would put my hat in the ring.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to as a board member?
I think in the beginning it's really listening and learning from the community, the district, and understanding all the work that goes on behind the scenes, and really educating myself so that I can be a good representative for the community.
So tell me, as a new board member, what are some of your priorities?
So the first priority is to listen and learn as much as I can in the short term, and to become engaged with the next phase of the strategic plan so that I understand what the priorities are for the community and that I can make informed decisions.
Great. So you told me that you are coming from that private sector industry, and so what do you hope to bring from that into the public school realm?
Sure. So I don't think there's a business out there that won't say that there's not enough time in the day to do what they need to do, that resources are scarce, that you're being asked to do more with less. And I know that that's true in the school system as well. Budgets are tight, and we want to make sure that we are using money effectively. In the private sector, I was often in kind of the project management role, where I had to work across disciplines with people from all different walks of life, whether it was customers, partners, colleagues, and really gathering information and listening and coming to consensus so that we can make the best, most informed decision is a skill that I developed in the private sector that I hope to continue for the Vancouver School District.
So in your application, you had talked about being a child of immigrants. Can you say more about how that experience affects your goals and your priorities?
Sure. So I think everyone in the district has their own story, and so for me, being the child of immigrants meant that I grew up with 3 languages, English and 2 other languages in the household. We celebrated my parents' culture, the traditions, the customs. And so when I look at the Vancouver School District and all the languages that are spoken, the cultures, it's really a great resource for people to learn and grow. And so when I read about the Center for International Studies that's coming on board, or they're the language immersion programs, I think those are all great ways for all of us to learn how small our world really is, as opposed to being kind of a small, tight-knit, what's the word I'm looking for? Homogenous, environment. So.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. As I mentioned, the existing board members selected NADA from a pool of applicants. We talked to the board president, Mark Stoker, about this process and why they selected NADA.
We opened up with publication of the notice that people could apply for the open position in December. We kept that period open till January 12th. We received 6 applications during that time frame. One person dropped out before the interviews, realized the time commitment might be more than what she expected. But we did 5 interviews on January 28th. About a half hour for each candidate. And after the interviews were concluded, we recessed into executive session to deliberate the credentials of the people. And we're able to discuss that and come out into an open public meeting and vote for NADA as the new board member. I think it's just all a matter of personal perspective for each board member. Personally, I'm looking for somebody that has a passion for education and a real passion for student success and achievement. And while I think we had 5 very well qualified candidates, NADA just rose to the top in those areas for me, and that's why I made my vote. Well, I think NADA just has a wealth of experience, both in the business world and with children currently in the school. I think she's got a great perspective on public education. She's not agenda driven, so she comes in really with an open mind on many of the issues, and I think that's really important.
NADA, this is obviously a big and really important job. Does it give you confidence to hear your fellow board members talk about you in that way and against your other, the other candidates that were interviewed?
Well, I think first to have so many candidates step forward that are qualified and committed to the school and willing to volunteer in that capacity was very exciting to hear. And I guess for me, it's just a matter of how we can all partner together. So I hope that I will learn much from our board members and that I can contribute as well.
Mm-hmm. So you're originally from the East Coast, right? When did you move to Vancouver and why?
Sure. So I grew up in Chicago or in the Illinois area and went to college there. And then I lived on the East Coast for about 14 years.
Okay.
And that's where my children were born. And we had the opportunity to move, and we thought the Pacific Northwest would be a great place to raise our children. And as we were looking more closely at communities, the Vancouver School District really stood out as one of the deciding factors of why we chose to settle in Vancouver.
That's great. What are some of the cultural differences that you see in like the school systems between the East Coast and this side of the country?
Well, actually, you don't even need to go to the East Coast. Talking to friends who live in the Seattle area, when I describe the programs that our district offers, their first question is, oh, is that a private school? Mm-hmm. And I think the quality and the breadth of education, of offerings and enrichment for all children is outstanding. And I think this is a great district that there are no limitations for what you can achieve if you set your mind to it.
Finally, what message do you have to the community members as you begin your term?
The main message is thank you. I know that so many people contribute every day in many different capacities, whether it's someone who volunteers for 1 hour once a year or people that are working tirelessly behind the scenes. And I just say thank you, and I hope that people will continue to feel engaged with the district and raise your hand and step forward when there's an opportunity. 'Cause, the more hands helping our children, the quicker we can achieve our goals.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
As we mentioned, NADA is serving out the rest of Mary Greaves' term, which is why she was selected by the board and not the voters. That term is set to expire at the end of this year and will be up for grabs in the November election. If NADA wants to keep the seat, she'll have to run just like anyone else. The woman NADA is replacing, Mary Greaves, served more than 20 years on the Vancouver School Board. Think of all the changes in that time, from new buildings to new curriculum and technology. Mary had a hand in all of it. In our Snapshot profile, we asked her colleagues to describe what made her such a great advocate for Vancouver's children.
Mary is a very pleasant person to work with. She's always nice, always respectful, always gives the benefit of the doubt. and really always wants to hear what you have to say. Even if she eventually disagrees with it, she always wants to hear what you have to say, and she's very thoughtful in that regard.
She's been on the board for 20 years. She started as a lot of board directors do that have children in the schools, being very committed in the schools. She was a volunteer. She wanted to make certain things were done well, not only for her kids, but for other kids. And so she's always interested in how we serve all children, not a specific group of children.
With all this commitment and discipline that you have learned through your music, that I would imagine you're all very excellent students as well. So,
Well, of course, if we're talking about our 20-year term, we'd be here a long time because there's a long list of accomplishments. But I'll speak to the 7 years that I've worked with Mary. And for me, it starts with our Design 2 strategic plan that we passed about 7 years ago, recently refreshed it, and it's really propelled our district into the 21st century, and I think it's a great legacy for her.
And to just always be on the side of the students who might not have all the advantages that her children had. To remember that each child in the Vancouver School District deserves the very best that our community has to offer them, and they each have the right to expect the very best from every adult in the system.
In the midst of difficulty, and then when there's disharmony and discord around, she can be very gracious and thoughtful and considerate. And she's a sort of a fresh breath of air at a time when you need it, when times are tough. And that's what happens on boards and in communities and in economic environments. And she's always able to transcend that and always see what's best for the longer term.
Well, I just want to say enjoy your grandchildren and enjoy your time with John and all of your family, and I will always remember the example that you gave to me personally, and I wish you the best.
Well, certainly, Mary, enjoy your retirement. I know she has 6 beautiful granddaughters that she wants to spend time with, and she certainly deserves that. And go away knowing that you left Vancouver Public Schools in very good hands. The future is very secure, and we're just very grateful for your 20 years of service, and wish you all the best, and please don't be a stranger.
We must model for our staff, our parents, and the rest of the community how important our children are. That's our first priority. And Mary's been fortunate that not only can she prioritize for her children and their grandchildren, but also for all the children in Vancouver. And that's her legacy, and I'm sorry to see her go.
She's a special lady. We will miss her. Vancouver will not be quite as good as it was with her.
Time now for our Snapshot Flashback, a look into the history of Vancouver Public Schools. We're focusing on a building that's had several names and uses since 1943. Originally, it was Bagley Downs Elementary School. Then, in 1946, it was renamed Lewis and Clark Elementary School, and then just Lewis. In 1953, it became Lewis Junior High School and remained that until 1986 when it closed. The building was remodeled and renamed the Jim Parsley Center. It's now the Central Administration Office and is also home to Jim Parsley Community Center, the Free Clinic of Southwest Washington, and the Boys and Girls Club. If you're interested in more VPS history, check out the historical timeline on the district's website. We're out of time for today. I want to thank Nada Wheelock and Mark Stoker for joining us. Thanks for watching Snapshot. I'm Tara Cox.